Marcille, and I'm the Chief Assistant State Attorney, and I'm one of the primary supervisors that Margie was referring to in the situation of where cases are transferred. Up here? Okay. I can be loud enough without it, so I'll try and moderate it. Yes. I'm one of the supervisors that Margie speaks with whenever a decision is made to transfer a juvenile to adult court. And obviously that's one of the concerns that you all are looking at this evening. And we are the office that makes that decision as to which juveniles are transferred to adult court and which juveniles are not. I know there will be a number of questions, and I don't want to go into all the details, but just some circumstances of how we do that in addition to what Margie has just mentioned. Of all the cases that we handle in our juvenile court division, only approximately 2% are actually transferred from juvenile court to adult court. So of the total number, we are actually talking a very small percentage of cases. Of that 2%, some of those cases are actually mandatory transfers, which means under the law, juveniles who commit certain offenses are mandated to be transferred to adult court by statute. So we have no discretion in that call at all. It's not something, a decision we make, it is mandated. Once a case is transferred from juvenile court to adult court, the ultimate decision and determination as to what sanctions should be imposed in that case is up to the judge. And even if we do make a decision to transfer a juvenile from juvenile court to adult court, where they're treated as an adult, the judge at the time of sentencing has the ultimate decision as to whether or not he or she should impose juvenile sanctions or whether or not adult sanctions should be actually imposed. Of the cases that we do transfer, over 90% of those cases where there is a disposition, which means where somebody is actually sentenced, the court imposes adult sanctions. So in effect, what that means is that the courts are ratifying the decisions as to which cases we choose to transfer to adult court and what the appropriate sentence should be. The judge in adult court has a wide range of opportunities to different types of sentences. The court can impose a juvenile sanction, or the court can impose an adult sanction. If the court chooses to impose juvenile sanction, which is rarely imposed in these cases, they can then decide what the type of sanction should be, whether it should be a commitment and what level that commitment should be, or whether or not some other sanction is appropriate. If adult sanctions are imposed, it can be anything that applies to any other adult, such as probation or incarceration, depending on the circumstances. But that decision is ultimately made by the court. I know there's been mention a little bit earlier this evening about the number of cases that are transferred in this area from juvenile court to adult court. And I can't say what happens throughout the country or throughout the world. I've never compared those statistics. I don't know how we compare from here to another place. We make a decision based on what we feel is appropriate. We give great consideration in making that decision. Ms. Andrews would call me, or another supervisor. She would advise us of the age of the individual and what the individual was charged with, and then some of the facts about the case. The majority of these people that we do transfer have extensive prior criminal history in the juvenile justice system. They have committed serious offenses. We do not transfer minor offenses. We do not, generally speaking, transfer minor property crimes. The vast majority of them are either serious crimes involving violence, there are offenses involving firearms, there are offenses involving burglaries of either homes or vehicles. Those are the types of cases that predominantly are transferred, but they are not your run-of-the-mill misdemeanor type cases or anything of that nature. We have a large range of diversionary programs in the juvenile justice system that handle the more minor offenses. Margie's made mention of the civil citation, which is something that we're using. I know there's been some comparison to other jurisdictions throughout the state. I know particularly there's been some comparisons made with Orange County, and that it's been reported that we transfer a greater number of cases than Orange County, even though Orange County is a much larger populated area. But if you look at the numbers over a 5-year period of time, you'll see that for 4 of those years, a substantially greater number of juveniles were transferred to adult court in Orange County than in Escambia County. The only year in those 5 years is the most recent year when 73 individuals were transferred in Escambia County and 70 were transferred in Orange County. We have had an uptake in violent juvenile crime in this area. Those are the cases that we look at. We primarily view our obligation as a protection of the community, protection of society, protection of individuals from crime. And when we make our decision as to who is appropriate to be treated as an adult, and that we will ask a judge to treat as an adult, we take those factors in consideration. And that's the main thing that we think about in trying to make the right decision. But we do closely review all these cases. We take numerous things into consideration in making that decision, and hopefully, and we believe we do make the right decision in the vast majority of those cases. Thank you.